You can see right here, they got it blocked off. I don't know whose vehicle this is, but this vehicle has this area blocked off. Man, it's running too. So it's probably going to be nice and warm in there. I don't know how anybody else is trying to use the hotel services. I can't hear you. Apparently I'm being told to go back. I was just trying to show what's going on, how they have it showed off here. So nobody can, there's somebody driving up. I don't know if they're trying to get to the hotel, but if it's barricaded off, you can't really, use the hotel services. So. See, I don't know if they're here trying to get into the hotel. I hope you don't have anything booked here tonight, because there's a vehicle here who's got it blocked off. You see how they got it blocked off here? I'm not going to try and block anybody myself. Apparently that one guy wants me to be behind the barricade. I don't know who he represents or what. I'm not out here trying to trespass or do anything. I'm not contributing to the noise myself. But the reason why there's all this noise being made in the background is because there are suspected federal agents in that building. Probably ICE, but who knows? I sure don't. This is in Minnesota. This is in New Brighton. These people are out here protesting what they think is an invasion. Of federal agents into their state or city.
No, we're about to go live.
Okay.
Way to get you back just for a
I'm hey man, I'm not out here to cause problems for anybody. So it's WCCO, so that's live. They wanted me to step back, I'm not out here to cause problems. Suites. We believe there are federal agents in there, at least that's what the protesters believe. They are activists contributing to civil disobedience. Many of these people know that they are violating noise ordinances laws, but they think it's for a greater good. That light down there is WCCO doing live broadcast. Over here and show you. You can tell these people have some experience in the band. The Homewood Suites in Hilton here in New Brighton, for people wondering. Gotta get away from the chaos a little bit to be able to talk. You can see they got a nice pool in there, probably a hot tub. That'd be great for my back. I'd love to take a little swim in there, but unfortunately there's a vehicle there blocking the entrance. I walked up a little bit towards that vehicle and they said, "Get back behind the barricade." Okay, I will. That's what I'm doing. WCCO asked me to kind of walk away a little bit so they could get a nice shot of what's going on. That was the gentleman over there, I believe. Look, we got some zoom in if we can over there. Some type of agents, I don't know. Those might be local police in Hennepin County. Yeah, I see a sheriff over there. It's hard to see from this angle, but it says sheriff and police. They seem to be getting a kick out of it. The one guy's dancing to it. It's hilarious. Law enforcement are dancing to it. They like the rhythm a little bit, I guess. So apparently the people here are making noise to make it hard to sleep for the ICE officers or whoever federal agents, it might be Border Patrol, whoever they suspect of being in this hotel. I have no idea how they came across this information. Perhaps it was, it could be a worker at this hotel that released the information. Nobody knows. At least I don't. I'm sure some people might, but I'm not the one to know. So the thing about this is violating a noise ordinance, and that is why it is civil disobedience.
Josie, thank you so much, Josie.
Originally when I got here, there was probably over 100. But
Fascist protector!
see, this guy right here,
Fascist protector!
he believes these law enforcement are fascists for protecting the ICE agents who he believes.
Fascist protector!
Hey, people online are saying that you're a paid protester. What would you say to these people online?
Who's saying that?
Or claiming, I don't know, just people, they could be throwaway accounts. I don't know, whoever.
Are you a creator?
Yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
We are not paid protesters. We are here because we love our country and the Constitution. And what you don't realize is your constitutional rights are being taken from you as well. Okay? Yeah. Your constitutional rights are being stripped from you as well. And for you people in particular that are MAGA, what happened to Don't Tread on Me? What happened to the Second Amendment? What happened to these things? What happened to small government? That went right out the window for you, right? When it didn't affect you personally. Well, that's not what the Constitution is about. The Constitution is about we the people, not we the conservative people.
So he's standing up to what he believes is a fascist takeover of America right now. Decide for yourselves what you think is going on. I think it was pretty funny earlier. You could see the law enforcement dancing to the music. It's a little hard to dance to the music right now. It's a little bit chaotic, I'd say. Right now it is Black History Month. It is February. now we are at the, for people just tuning in, we are at the Homewood Suites by the Hilton. And these people are standing up to what they believe is a fascist takeover of the United States. There's been allegations of people claiming that there's paid protesters, but everybody has refuted that. Everybody is out here to protest what they believe is a fascist takeover of the United States due to who they believe is a fascist Donald Trump and his cronies. Yes, they are aware that this is violating the noise ordinance, but they are doing it because of civil disobedience. That's what they believe in, is going to put a stop to this fascist regime. I happen to like what they were playing before. The music even had the law enforcement dancing earlier. It's a little bit chaotic now, but it really had a tune to it. It reminded me of being at a University of Minnesota game. I'm gonna get a little bit away from this noise. It is chaotic. See, somebody has a pot and pan there. Some people have trumpets. We had the University of Minnesota people here earlier. They got whistles going. So that's the car that was blocking the way. It looks like they're letting some people out. I wonder if that's private security or whatnot over there. But they seem to have a vehicle that comes out and comes back out, so people can't drive their vehicles in here. I don't know how they know who's allowed or who's not. Maybe they have a special pass or something. The protest is starting to die down now. Like I said, this whole block was lined with people. You can see we got local news here. There's the local news covering it. And we're down to just a handful of people left. Standing up for what they believe is a fascist takeover of the United States. And they're doing what they can to prevent it. In a non-violent way. Yes, there are noise ordinances, but civil disobedience means sometimes doing what might be written on the book is wrong, but doing what they think is right.
This is the data I was given. I've given it to you when I was
There's somebody honking who is not a fan of ICE. The law enforcement that were standing outside are not there anymore. And it looks like people are really moving on. We're down to the small group left. I'm not going to put anybody on blast who doesn't want to be. So,
oh, hell yeah.
got another person there honking, saying they support the protesters. Usually if they're honking, that means they support the protesters and what they stand for. Y'all had the law enforcement dancing. You guys are so good. Like the protest is moving on, everybody's leaving here. We got people driving by, not very happy.
I'm not sure, but a whole ton of cops just went right over in that direction. I'm not sure.
The police did?
Yeah. I don't know what is going on over there, though. They might have cleared it out first.
Okay. You're saying that the police were over that way. I cannot confirm that or not. I mean, I see a couple people over there moving around. LARPers, that may be correct. I don't know. You think ICE is great? Hey, that's your opinion. I just saw police driving by, so I can see what they're talking about. People honking. But, you know, for people who are calling these protesters losers, they're organized, okay? They know how to get somewhere and then move out when the heat gets on. So they move in, they assert their presence, and then they bounce. So what was over 100 people here has left. We're at the Homewood Suites in New Brighton. You can see that there's barricades set up here, local news. There's still some people making noise, but it's really died down from when it was. There's a barricade system over here. You can see this vehicle here lets in and lets out the patrons of the hotel. Who those patrons are, I don't know. You know, they might be ICE, federal agents. How they got this information, I don't know either. So I just got word that there was a protest here and decided to come down and see what was going on. And you can see basically everybody's out of there. You know, WCCO got their soundbite and video. You know, when 100 people are here, and once WCCO left, the media, basically all the protesters left. So I don't know why that is. Who knows what's going on? You know, I'm not at the top of the food chain here by any means, you know. It's quiet now. Now it's dead silent here. Literally, you were here 20 minutes ago and you couldn't hear yourself think. And now everybody's gone. So people claiming that these protesters are unorganized or they're losers, you know, they seem to have their stuff together. Now, to the fact of why they're organized, you know, does that have to do with Minnesota saying, hey, I'm done here? You know, we don't want these federal agents in our area. Or is this a smaller group of people who are well organized, standing up for what they believe in? Time will only tell. But Minnesota has long been a Democrat bastion. The DFL is very strong here. They win elections. When Reagan swept the country, the state that didn't vote for him was Minnesota. So to think that these people are all just paid, I think, is discounting the fact of how many Minnesotans stand up for what they believe in. Whether you believe that's right or wrong, that's what they're standing up for. So to see more people honking, but it's just completely dead there. And it was popping. It was popping when I drove by. It was scheduled for 8:30. It was only supposed to last an hour, and we are at 10:15 Central Time. You know, there's still protesters coming on their own now, but I wouldn't say it's organized like it was. You know, I interviewed somebody and asked that question if he was paid, and he said right on camera he's not. And I have no reason to think he's lying. I think the people are standing up for what they believe in. This is a Democrat bastion of political support. You have both the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor basically on the side of these protesters. So to say that they're paid, I don't know if that's true. Maybe like the very top of the people organizing these protests are paid. I wouldn't doubt that. You know, there's a lot of political money that gets thrown around, and, you know, trying to make a protest look grassroots, I could see that happening. But to claim that the vast majority of these protesters are paid, I think that is a narrative that people want to believe is true, but it's just not true. And it also shows how the right wing is just really not organized in the same manner. I'm going to walk down to where everybody parked, because as you can see, it's blocked off right here. If you wanted to park next to this hotel, it's almost like they knew these protesters were coming. And I wouldn't doubt that, because it's the U.S. federal government. They have resources upon resources upon resources. So you can see right here, this is next to the hotel, another business that's just blocked off here. that you couldn't even come in and park if you wanted to. So where the protesters parked at is down the street. Yeah, happy Minocco Monday, right? Get your 15 cents off at Minocco. It's another manic Monday here in Minnesota. Hey, yeah, somebody honking at me. They think I'm one of the only people left on the sidewalk. So if you were to go back on the live stream, there was a lot of people, highly organized protest event that has evaporated. The word went out to, hey, we are leaving, and that's what's going on. So hey, I stand up for Minnesota. Minnesota is what saved the Union. If you want to go to Gettysburg and look at the history, the Minnesota 1st Regiment is the reason why we have the Union as it is today. So, a really fun thing was Jesse Ventura was asked about returning the Confederate battle flag. And he was like, no, we won that fair and square in battle. We're going to keep that thing. So I'm a big Jesse Ventura fan. I'm a third-party guy. I'm not DFL. I'm not a Republican. But I might be more DFL these days if it's going to go more like a libertarian Jared Paulus type, personally. For those just coming in, we're walking over towards where the protesters parked at. And you can just see everybody clearing out in their vehicles. This area was just lined. If you want to look here, it's barricaded in. So somebody knew that this protest was coming and put up barricades so that they couldn't enter this area. This isn't even the hotel. This is a commercial facility next to the hotel that has barricades so you can't enter. You had to walk about a quarter of a mile, a third of a mile away from that hotel to get to a point you could even drive in somewhere and park, but there's fences there. Who's going to park there? And there's parking, it looks like, along this street here is where they said for everybody to park. Libertarians have a huge spectrum, okay? So why don't you ask libertarians what they believe in? I know libertarians were big against the whole lockdown system that happened about 5 or 6 years ago. So to say that they're just Democrats, I don't think is correct. Who's the ones paying them? I could use a paycheck. Let me know where I can get paid. I need money. Hook it up. Evolutionists. Is that different from a creationist? Hey, I don't doubt that there's people at the very top of these protests who are organizing and running this that probably get paid, okay? But the vast majority of the protesters show up because they don't believe in ICE or the federal government doing what they're doing. So let's stick to the facts on the ground instead of coming up with narratives to erase away what's going on. And for the conservatives calling these people losers, they're well organized. I haven't seen a conservative response, and then when the conservatives do a response, look what happens. They get set up every time. January 6th or these like white supremacy protests, they don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, every time the right wing thinks they're going to come together in the streets, they go and do something stupid. So explain that. Hey, they might be told what to do. I mean, they're told, hey, this date, this time, we're showing up. And a lot of people do. So it'd be amazing if I saw 200 conservatives in the streets. I haven't seen that for years. The most I see with conservatives are maybe 10 people outside an abortion clinic harassing people as they go to it. You know, the conservatives, every time they try to do something, they get set up. And they're not smart enough to realize that they're walking into a trap. It seems like every single time. January 6th, Okay, go protest outside the Capitol. What are you doing running up inside of it? What are you doing threatening legislature? You know, it's absolutely insane. And you're calling these protesters losers or paid? It's well, January 6th says otherwise. There were 1 million plus conservatives there. And where were the conservatives stopping the other protesters from being violent? You know, you get upset with these, what you call Democrat paid protesters. What are you doing to stop them? You know, you don't do anything. You just call them losers. Oh, we're going to vote for it. Okay. But when you actually get out on the streets, but it wasn't just January 6th. There's multiple incidents of right-wingers coming together for a protest thinking that they're going to be all high and mighty, and then they just get ran out of town. Like, look what happened in when that Jake Lane guy came to Minnesota. He showed up with 5 guys and got ran out of town and looked like a total chump. So anyways, this is where people were suggested to park legally, is here, right here. It's a public street, so they parked here and walked up, or they got dropped off over there. No, I pee standing up. I love to do it. I splash everywhere. It's just wonderful. Oh, and if you want some ammo too, I am a soy boy. I'm vegan, so you know, if you really want to go off on me, you can go off on that. I'm pro-life in the fact that I don't like life being killed prematurely. So if you were truly against death and were trying to be godlike, you would make some decisions to change your life. Did I get you upset enough yet, conservatives? No, it's serious though. Like, you throw all these accusations online and think that you're just solving everything, being a troll online. And it's like, what are you doing? And then when you actually come out from online to in the streets, you get decimated by the organization of the left. Obama, yep. You know, I was upset when he was out on TV saying we don't have any boots on the ground in Libya, and then I'm watching on YouTube, you know, Libyan fighters engaging with U.S. assets in Libya defending the CIA base. You can watch that on 13 Hours in Benghazi. So that stuff really did happen, you know, and they try to claim it was a protest or whatever. So there's corruption all around. Don't try and put me in a box. I'm anti-corruption. I want the best for America. We are a nation of immigrants. How we figure out how to do immigration, you know, I've been talking with people here and they'd be happy just moving it to more be like a civil issue where you get tickets and fines that you have to end up paying that don't go away. I understand that aspect to it. There might be a way to do it where we don't militarize everything. You know, keep the militarized assets for actual threats towards American sovereignty is what I would say. Obama had more deportations than Trump. So it seemed to work before, but I think the aspect is people don't like the militarization, like insurgency aspect to it, is what I would say. I hear more noise up here. It sounds like there might be another protest going up over this way. Yeah, when's the last time you heard somebody say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? That's what matters. Inalienable God-given rights. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, it says God endowed all of us with that. Not just Americans with it, but all of us. So if we can get back to that kind of energy, I think we can really make a difference in the world. Because we got to remember, we have big enemies against individual freedom like Russia and China, North Korea, Cuba. Venezuela did get somewhat taken out recently, so I'll give it that, but I don't like the guys under the drug war that it is, because the drug war undermines individual sovereignty over their own body. Yeah, and there's just, I mean, I heard stuff over here, but it doesn't look like, it looks like all the protesters are taking off. So once again, this is a well-organized operation against ICE. To declare them losers, I think, is undermining what's actually happening on the ground. I interviewed some people, asked them directly if they're paid protesters. They said they are not. I'd have no way to disprove or approve that, whatever. I'm just a man filming, trying to show what's going on the ground. This street right here is where all the protesters parked so they could legally walk up to the hotel, which was barricaded. You know, I'm against, somebody just brought up Don Lemon, and if he was actually organizing the event into the church, that's one thing, but if he's just there to record what's going on, you know, that's a First Amendment right. Just like if somebody was just there on January 6th to record what's going on, that's their right too. If they were actively engaging, it's just hilarious to me that Alex Jones never got in any trouble for that. Because I remember watching or listening to him for weeks following up to January 6th, calling it the 1776 of our lifetimes. And so to claim that it wasn't, he was putting out energy that it's going to be an insurrection. Now, was it an actual threat towards an insurrection? I don't think so. I think Ashley Babbitt should have been tackled and apprehended without killing her. There's a middle ground here. If somebody thinks that George Floyd is fine being murdered or Ashley Babbitt, they're probably someone who's partisan and tribalistic that isn't chasing after the truth. But yeah, to downplay January 6th, I think you have to look at Alex Jones's ties to it. Just specifically the weeks and the month leading up to it. It was his event that he organized in many ways. So if you're going to arrest Don Lemon, I have no idea why Alex Jones wasn't arrested. That guy should have been #1 on the arrest list, and somehow he got out of it. So if it applies to Don Lemon, it applies to Alex Jones. And it's funny how he was calling out how there's an elite ring of people who do unsavory things towards children. And yet all he does is defend Trump now, despite him being in the Epstein files and knowing this guy. You know, there's a reason Elon Musk was using the Epstein files to attack Trump. And that's because he was basically laughed away when he tried to go to the island. They're like, you're a loser, Elon Musk. We don't want you there. Or maybe because Elon Musk's the guy who will put people on blast and they know that. So they're like, yeah, let's just get rid of this guy. Or maybe it's because Elon Musk wasn't into the whole IQ BS that Epstein was, trying to claim that some people inherently have a higher IQ than others. Hey, I'll condemn anybody in the files. We need new people. And same thing with the fraud in Minnesota. Anybody tied to the fraud, get them out. There's other politicians that we can have stand up. Why do we have to support the same old politicians that are tied to all this unsavory stuff? Get rid of them. Let's get some new young people in. Let's get some people who have actual values. Hey, I'm here recording it. This isn't my protest, okay? I was just alerted to this protest going on, and I'm a local guy who just likes to record and put the truth out to the people so they can make up their own mind. Hey, you know, Biden has some creepy stuff too. He was sniffing young girls and whatnot. The guy called black, super predators. The guy does not have a good history. He's not who I would have voted for the Democrats. My favorite Democrat, I'd say, is Jared Paulus. And if you look at the guy, his latest thing is he's defending the Second Amendment when it comes to people who smoke pot. So if you want to put me in a box, tie me in with Jared Paulus. He's my homie. All right, everybody, it's nice having the 300 or 400 of you that are on the stream right now. I need to go home and, subscribe to me, follow me, and look up my old stuff. I was at the George Floyd protest when they started. When they turned from a protest into a riot, I put people on blast who were causing damage, physical damage. Check it out on my YouTube. So, I'm out here for the people and the truth. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.